Welcome, everybody. This is the YouTube channel of Dr. Nick's Amazing Man Stuff, and this live stream is called Doctor's Orders, where we give you guys a glimpse into everything that is going on with this company, and most importantly, we get feedback and use that from you guys. I have two requests from you, whether you're watching this live right now or in the future. Number one, if you could hit a thumbs up to show that you like this and you're just supporting in an easy, free way, that means a lot to us. And then number two, we already had several people do this in the chat. If you don't mind, and it's whatever you want to share, don't do anything you're not comfortable with, but share where you guys are from. I love seeing everybody around the country and around the world as you guys come in here. So just drop a little line in there and say, hey, from mine would be from Michigan, and my name is Dan. I do a lot of work with this company. I have a title known as Master of Marketing. And then over here, we got the doctor, Dr. Nick. Nick, how are you doing today?
What's up, guys? I'm doing fantastic. Doing really good. All pumped up after your live stream last night, Dan. That was a good one.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun. Sometimes they just hit and you never know where the topics go, but it's always fun.
You know, I'm sitting there working on website integration stuff last night for a payment processor, and I threw you on at 9 o'clock, and I'm like, okay, I'll just put it on in the background. And next thing I know, like 15 minutes went by, didn't do anything. My code sitting there, just sitting there. And I'm like, all right, I got to downsize this until I save this code and save this file. Then I can go back to having fun on Dan's live stream. So I popped back in and said hi around 10.
Love it. Love it. Absolutely love it. And so in the chat, hope you guys are doing well. Let us know what's going on in your life right now. Are you at work and getting paid to listen to this? Are you on break? Are you at home? Are you working out? I've known we have had people that were like walking miles on the treadmill. So what are you guys up to right now as we are getting ready for this stream? And with this one, guys, we're pretty excited about today's episode. We try not to force these ideas. This is something that we thoroughly enjoy. We look forward to. As Nick kind of talked about last week, we just kind of started this show. We're on episode 14 right now, and we just started it, and we didn't know exactly where it was going, but we knew it would be a good idea to be transparent and get this information out to you guys. But it's become something that we really look forward to, that we really value as a part of this Dr. Nick's Amazing Man Stuff company. And so today's topic is called Building a Brand Our Way. And we want to get feedback from you guys. We also want to share feedback from our side and talk about just everything that goes into our process of creating this brand, especially when it comes to marketing, especially when it comes to building a community, building a base. And we think that we are doing it in a pretty unique and kind of special way. And we wanted to dedicate this episode, but please, we really encourage you to get involved today and give some feedback. We have some specific questions for you. Nick, any initial thoughts on this topic today?
You know, it's an exciting topic in the sense that we're calling it, the title of the, building the brand our way, and I'd like to think it's the right way. We didn't go so far as to say building a brand the right way, because there could be other right ways.
Correct.
There is, but it's interesting across every business that I've owned in the past or own currently. We're approaching this a much different way. And what's really interesting about that is that it is delivering vastly different results. And I guess the important part to note is obviously this isn't, a business consultation session, right? But so I'm not going to focus on the business per se, dollars and cents side of it. I guess the different result that I've noticed and that I'm witnessing happen is the customer base, right? You guys, and everyone watching here, everyone that's watching later, everyone that watches any of our content or interacts with us in any way. I think that's really been the biggest difference. And so it's different from the way we interact with our customers. It's different from the way that our customers interact with us. You can tell from the very first time someone sends us an email that they're not reaching out to someone they feel they don't know. When people reach out, when you guys reach out to us with either a question or a problem or anything else, I feel like I'm getting an email from one of my friends, because that's how it starts off, right? And it's just so vastly different from a culture perspective. I think it's just important to recognize it. One, appreciate it, say thank you for it. Thank you for supporting it. But on top of that, I really do think there's a really neat trickle off effect here where people have said it in the past. Dan and I could do a whole podcast, I think, just on this concept that we're talking about here. And there's a few pieces, I think, that sort of act as pillars and sort of hold it up. So there are some kind of base concepts, I think, right, Dan, that we always kind of keep in the back of our minds when we're making decisions. It either goes in line with those paradigms or it doesn't. And so I think, no, it's huge. I mean, it's one of the most exciting discoveries I've made as a business owner. And I think you guys appreciate it as people who buy a product from a company they believe in. So I'm insanely excited to talk about it. We don't do anything here that, here's the craziest part. Typically, I think if you're a business and you've discovered some new route to market, or you've discovered some new way of building a marketing model, you probably don't put it out there, right? It's probably one of those guarded secrets. But just like everything else we do, I think there's actually nothing that secret about it. And that's why I say I feel like it's the right way to do it, because it all makes sense. It's all very common sense, right? And so no problem sharing it, no problem talking about it. And just like we always do, asking questions, taking input, and making sure everyone's singing off the same sheet of music going forward. So I'm pumped.
Awesome. Yeah. And we had some ideas that we're going to talk about. I have some specific questions for you guys, but we also had a couple topics that we thought might fit into the discussion today, and we weren't exactly sure where they were going to, just kind of feeling it out. And I think we kick it off with this, and then we get into it. And Nick really articulates this next topic very well, and it's kind of what he was talking about there. And I want to kind of go over this, and then if you guys have feedback, if you have experience, if you have thoughts on this, please feel free to share in the chat. And I love that you guys are saying hello to each other. That's a culture, that's a community that we want to build.
Heck yeah.
So something that we are very passionate about. And again, guys, if you missed the entry, man, I don't know, how long has it been, Nick, since I've been working with you guys? 6 months now?
About 6 months. Yeah.
Almost
God,
6
time
months.
flies.
Yeah. And so the title is Master of Marketing, right? Just a fun name. And we'll get into like kind of how the company works and doing everything, but it's been really fun to see all aspects of this company in an approach that we really value. And we don't even know if these are exactly the right words for it, but I love how Nick articulates it. And we really like the concept of a customer base versus a fan base. And we are not a fan of trying to build a customer base. We're a fan ourselves of building a fan base. And I know that word can be taken a couple of different ways. So Nick, go ahead and hit them exactly like we had talked. And me and Nick have these conversations, you guys, literally every single day. We talk about how excited we are about this stuff. We talk about our strategies. We go over this stuff every single day. There's not a day that passes that we don't talk about it. So Nick, what is this concept? What is this like overarching umbrella of the Dr. Nick's company that is a fan base over a customer base?
Well, so literally trickles down into everything we do. And honestly, I didn't know this is what we were doing until we started really interacting more with this community. So, I use the term loosely and I use it carefully because I don't want it to be construed the wrong way, that we're sitting on a soapbox or anything here.
Right.
But I think it is the most appropriate way to kind of refer to it. Let's go to customer base for a minute. Any company, regardless of what you sell, any of you can go out into Alibaba and find a product that you think you could slap a good logo on and put on Amazon, and you could spend $50,000 on ads, and you will probably get a pretty good stream of revenue from whatever that product is. You can buy customers. You can buy them with ads. You can buy them with promotions. You can buy them with media, right? Lots of ways to buy customers. But in my mind, those customers that you're buying, right, with zero contact, they don't know you, you don't know them, they're fickle, right? And if something goes wrong, chances are they initiate a return or they throw something in the trash and they never come back. Someone else has a problem. You'd be like, yeah, I don't know. I had an okay experience with them, but I don't know those guys. So yeah, I don't know, probably garbage. You also see this concept out there, and it's really prevalent about, just negative things. People like talking about negative stuff on the internet more than they like talking about good stuff, right? When it comes to things they spend money on. People are more apt to write a bad review than they are a good one, right? There's lots of studies that talk about how bad news travels much faster than good news.
Yep.
And every news outlet that we all watch, regrettably, does a really good job, obviously, of pushing that negative, undertone. Whereas you now flip, look at a fan base, and let's not even talk about us. Like look at football. Look at anything that has people that are fans and their customers, right? People will not only advocate for that entity, that company, but they'll also they are more likely to reach out if there's a problem, right? They're more likely to get in touch with you if they have a question, before they go and say something negative to somebody. And oftentimes it's really easily resolved, or it's a little simple question, misunderstanding, shipping issue, whatever it might be. Um, but also, what you're doing there is that fan base that you create is your marketing engine. Your marketing engine's not Google ads, it's not Facebook ads, it's not YouTube advertising, it's not Instagram ads, right? It is genuine content that connects with people, and connecting with people yourself, having a personal connection to your customers, a personal investment in your customers, and your customers thereby having a personal investment in you. And they will tell their friends about you. They will, if you sit down in a group of people and everyone's like, "Oh, what do you got in your beard today?" And someone says something, people who are a fan of a product or a company might say something like, "Oh man, yeah, that stuff sounds good, but you got to try this stuff," right? And they advocate for you. And you guys have proven this. And honestly, I had no idea this is what was happening until you guys started doing it. What we see on social media, what we get in our inbox, what we get through phone calls on our review, the way our word of mouth advertising works, when someone contacts us and they say, "Hey, I'm friends with so and so. They told me about, your number 7 beard oil or your beard butter," or whatever it might be. And there's always a story that goes along with it, right? And I don't know of many other companies out there that get these awesome stories from their not even customers, but soon to be customers, about how they found you and what their friends said, and their experiences. And then you hear back from them once they tried something, and they encourage you to keep going, and they say, "We like what you're doing, like thank you for doing what you do." you know I a while back just realized that there was a significant difference here, between the people who purchase our products and the way we interact with them versus the customers I have across any other business. And I don't think that's because those products are any better or worse, right? I obviously I think Dr. Nick's makes the best beard products in the planet, and I firmly believe in it. I think we're turning people day by day into believers of that as well. And it's not to say the other products and companies that I run aren't good, but they very much follow traditional marketing models. Customers come and go. You oftentimes don't know when a customer comes on board or when one leaves. And that's the way most businesses work, right? They work off of keeping an eye on margin, repeat customers versus first time customers. I mean, that's, if you're in the retail space, those are your, that's your KPI. Those are your key performance indicators that let you know how well you're doing. And I think not only do we have a completely different set of KPIs for Dr. Nick's, which is heavily weighted on customer experience, I think that this paradigm that I didn't even know existed started forming right in front of us because of what we're doing, because of this community that we're building and interacting with. And I think it's just a really cool concept. And what's interesting is, I think, again, just based on some stuff, it's like, that we're seeing back here. I think it's true.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I love the distinction of a customer versus a fan. A customer rarely cares about the success and well-being of a company. Oftentimes, they would rather take advantage of them if possible. They would, hey, I can get this and it's going to hurt the company. Great. A fan base is people that want you to succeed, people that are cheering for you. And to have the term fans, it has to be reciprocated. It's got to be back. It's got to give you something, right? For me, I'm a Detroit Lions fan. Hey, that can be tough. That can be tough being a Detroit Lions fan. There's not a whole lot that comes back. But it is amazing to see that kind of going both ways. So I love that. And we never talk about trying to get customers. We never talk about like any of
Mhm.
these things. It's just, if we keep doing it our way, we know that it's going to grow. We know that it's going to be successful. And that's been so important to us. And as Jason says, one thing I've learned in sales is that relationships are so critical for the success of the product. I agree. And I think we see that every single day. Every single day is how important it is. And Donald, very intelligent friend, said figuring out the customer acquisition cost to buy one item versus the cost to have repeat customers is more than dollars. Yes. Oh my gosh. Say that louder, man. It
Dude,
drives me crazy. And I get
I'm
to
gonna
the
throw
chance to
that
work.
one right there on the website.
Yeah, right. It's I work with so many different owners, which is a blessing and also a curse sometimes. And some are just way too analytical on the dollars. There's things that are more than dollars. There's things that are long term. There are things that you build. There are things that you can't even measure, right? Metrics are nice. Analytics are great. But there's some things that you just got to feel. You just got to know. And that comes with building that base. It's brand, reputation, quality, customer service. And Donald and I actually have these like in-depth conversations on pretty much a daily basis. So it's always awesome to kind of bounce things off him. And it's really cool. And the idea of purchasing from a small business and helping that success.
Yeah.
A good product will always sell, and a good product with excellent customer service will sell the most. Man, I love it. I
No,
absolutely
that's
love that.
huge, guys. I mean, in Jason, what you pointed out there, what you learned in sales about relationships, it's funny, as a whole, I think the market is starting to see that, right? People are starting to recognize faceless companies, and people are starting to recognize a company that they can build a relationship with versus one they can't, right?
Yep.
Um, Down to the point actually where you look at CRM software, the customer relationship management software market. Obviously we use them heavily across our other businesses, especially in the software space and in the consulting space. But it used to be when you would go to a big company to get information about like leads, right? If you were trying to get lead lists for different markets, you would track businesses, right? And you would track the business as an account, and then you would have key contacts listed under that account. And when people left, they just drop off that list, and you'd keep the company and you'd keep track of who was the decision maker at that company. And now you start looking at the CRM market. And this is how I know it's not just us with this concept is, because obviously the market is smart. Consumers, everyone out there is smart. Everyone's intelligent people who start to see through all the BS. And what's interesting is now these software platforms have transitioned to keeping track of people and where those people move across companies, because it's not the company you have a relationship with, it's the person that's there, right?
Yep.
And that person, regardless of where they move, you're going to have them as a relationship, and it started tracking things that way. So I think the market as a whole is starting to kind of go this way. It's just a big ship to turn, and you have a lot of mentalities to change. And I think, yeah, you're right. I mean, that's it.
And it does take a lot more effort and skill to do it this way. And again, to do it our way. We don't know if it's the right way or not, but to do it our way, it takes a touch. It takes the dedication. It takes being a good person too. If you're going to put yourself out there, people need to be able to feel that you're a good person. And one thing that I think is extremely important with all of this is we've talked about other marketing strategies throughout the past with companies, especially when you peel back behind the doors. And all of those are predicated on certain softwares, on certain algorithms, on certain programs.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is, if those programs change, so do the sales of that company. If you build it the right way, if you build a base that wants you to succeed, that knows you have great products, that know that you care, those algorithms don't matter as much. For example, anybody that's familiar with sales, there was a massive, massive change that rocked the entire marketing industry when it was the iOS privacy changes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know what that is, essentially before, you could freakishly target your ads to as specific as you wanted it to be. You could literally target an ad for the wife of a bearded man. So you could make ads that were going to ladies that were married to a bearded man. So you can make it a sexy cologne. You could say, hey, your husband's beard will look better, feel better, smell better if you use this. And it was so effective. Well, then those changes happened and said, we probably shouldn't give these companies this specific of information. Now, here's
Imagine
what you
that.
can do. You can target men, women, and age groups in locations. Sorry, good luck there. Now, if you're targeting women, what percentage of women have a bearded man as a husband, right? We don't know. And so, exactly 5%. And so, with those iOS privacy changes, there were entire business models, entire companies that are no longer companies, that are no longer successful, that are sitting on warehouses that I've physically seen with my own eyes because of those changes,
Mhm.
because they didn't have a fan base. They had a customer that were bought through specific targeted ads. Now, that lady that bought that one thing for her husband for Valentine's Day, she may never come back. Why? Because she was checking a list. I have to buy my husband something for Christmas. I have to buy him. Oh, here's an ad. Check. She doesn't even know the name of the company. She
No,
gave it to him and she's gone. She's gone from there. So those changes are really difficult if you base everything on those stats, on those algorithms. But doing it the right way is so much of a better long-term play. And I
absolutely.
love that. Love
I
that.
can't imagine my whole business going away because of a privacy change or the way that ads are delivered. That there's the people who are out of business there, by the way, you know, you got to figure there's enough people out there where you could literally never have a repeat customer and you could be buying ads like crazy in a very effective site that's good at closing new people and ads that are great at attracting people to get to the site. And you could literally go on for 10, 15, 20 years and never have a repeat customer and still be doing way more business than we're doing right now, right?
For sure.
Uh, you know, I think those companies probably have a 5 to 10% maybe return customer rate,
That's fair.
not counting the people who sign up for subscriptions and forget about them. Um, if you don't look at Black Friday, because obviously that skewed our numbers a bit because we had a bunch of new customers come in for Black Friday. If you looked previous to, you know, November 15th, we have a 82% monthly return customer rate. And I mean, that's something I want to put on a flag and put it in front of the building. I mean, it's huge. It's unheard of in the cosmetics space to have a sustainable business where 80+% of your customers are return customers. And like someone else said, it's hard work. It takes longer. The snowball rolls much, you know, slower down the hill. But that's okay. We like it that way, and we like that rate of growth. And you know, honestly, we just wouldn't want to do it another way. I mean, we wouldn't want some changes out there on ad delivery to all of a sudden take out 80% of our business, right? We want it to be sustainable for our customers, the people who work here, just as a company as a whole. Those numbers speak volume to your product and the way that you got the customers on board who buy those products. And it's accountability, right? You guys keep us honest. It's
Yeah.
huge.
No, it's a fact, an absolute fact. And there's many ways, right? If it's just margins, if it's just making, you can build up a company to have huge numbers to sell it one day. There's an approach to do that. There's an approach to get out in front of everybody. That's amazing. And then, yeah, Judd the Stud says, I want you to know that use the beard butter. It's actually fading some of my age spots on his hands, which this isn't something that we tote, but there are some ingredients in the oils and butters that do have anti-aging effects. In that, I mean, you
Huge.
can look them up. That's real, and so that's really cool to see that in person, that it's working.
Dude, Judd, that's awesome. Jill literally just earlier today burned her hand on a piece of equipment and she's burned her tip of her finger. Nothing serious. Don't worry. And literally my first reaction was, oh man, do we have any open tester beard butters laying around
Yeah.
anywhere? Get your finger in there. And she went and grabbed some of the aloe butter that we use in there. And yep, sure enough, put that on there and helps calm it down. But yeah,
Yep.
that's interesting though, isn't it?
Yeah. And Garrett, I love this too. He said, also, the owner is a huge part of the fan base. I agree entirely. There are there's all ranges of owners, but it really, as you go long term and you see growth, it matters a lot, especially in this space. And he said actually interacting and knowing your fan base instead of seeing people as dollar signs, more dollar signs. And as an example of this owner, we go back and forth. The Instagram is we'll talk about kind of the business model in a bit, but the Instagram is controlled by all members of Dr. Nick's, and interact and say, hey, there was somebody who had an issue with a product, and me and Nick were texting back and forth on it. And immediately Nick was like, hey, let's get him a replacement right away. That's not how it's supposed to be. And like, there's no thought of, well, that costs more to ship it. Like that discussion doesn't happen. There's no, like, there's some companies that will even get things like recalls and say, what's going to cost us more, the recall or the lawsuit? Okay, let's figure this out here. And it's not seeing people as dollar signs. It's so unbelievably true and accurate. I love that, Garrett. That last sentence hits home like big time.
Dude, it is. That's huge, Garrett. And I mean, I 100% of my time during the day when I'm reading emails or I'm going through responding to Instagram, I am not, and this is probably not a great thing. This is why we would never be on Shark Tank. This is why we would never have public investors, because some of the things we do would just get thrown out the door if we had other equity owners in here that cared strictly about the money. I am doing all of that from the standpoint of a customer, right? I mean, it's what would I want someone to say to me if I sent this email that I'm reading, and it's nice to my other businesses, they have other owners. I have other partners. I have investors. We have banks, lots of other stuff involved. I got lots of red tape to work around with any other business. With this one, I don't. And I'm able to make decisions that are literally based on the customer experience and nothing else. And so if I'm not getting a good vibe from somebody, maybe like they're trying to make something work for them, but it's not quite for them, and this and that, I'll literally jump straight to the chase. Say, hey, I'm happy to work through this with you, but at the same time, if we think that maybe something you'd like better, or if there's another route we can take to make sure you're happy, let me know what it is and let's take it. And people usually reply back with, oh, well, wow, okay, well, yeah, I mean, I think maybe I want to do this or this or this instead. And fine, let's do it. And we want people to have a great experience, whether or not they even are a repeat customer or not. It's not even my goal of, okay, well, I got to make sure to save this guy to make sure that he comes back and buys something else. No, my focus when I'm doing that is around how do I make sure this person leaves saying that they had the best customer experience of any company they've ever dealt with. And that might be them sitting at a bar saying, man, you know what? I tried this product from this company. It wasn't for me. It didn't work. I wasn't a fan of this, or this. But I got to say, like, holy crap, the customer service was amazing. I reached out to them and this is what happened and this is how it went. And man, I almost wish it did work because I just love working with them so much. Like, I want those to be the stories that people say about us, whether or not they're going to come back or not.
Facts. Okay. I have a question for you guys. Please think about your answer and please drop a comment. And then Nick, I will, while they're formulating their answers, I'm going to pivot to you with a question on the same topic here. Mm-hmm. So we would like to know from you guys, in any industry, in any market, and even considerably so, please think even outside of cosmetics, outside of beard care, what are marketing methods that you are a fan of? Are there certain ads? Are there certain approaches? Are there methods? Is there something that stands out to you that you're like, I love that this company does this? And we just want to hear some positive things. Who knows if it's an idea we can implement or if we just get positive vibes that are going out there. And then Nick, while they're getting their answers, my question to you is, outside of the beard industry, is there a company, is there a specific company that does stuff that you really respect, that you really enjoy, that resonates with you, that you're like, they're doing at least this thing very, very well, and I admire that?
Yeah. So might not be a popular opinion of an answer. And it's just me being the goofball that I am, I guess, in a lot of cases. There's two companies and I love their marketing. I love Dr. Squatch's marketing, and I love this all natural deodorant company. They use the same marketing company. I believe it's Tagger Media, one of these guys that's part of that group. It was Lumi. It's an all natural deodorant that Joel started using. And it's fantastic. Like, it's like half inappropriate, half not inappropriate, right? lady in a lab coat, but like she talks about topics that are very off color. But I love that stuff. And you know what, one of my favorite commercials of all time was for a product. Oddly enough, you can still find it on YouTube. And it's the Norelco body groom commercial.
Okay.
And it's got this dude in a robe, and he comes out and he keeps getting bleeped out for the things he's talking about. It's a personal groomer, if you know what I mean. And so he's like, do you ever wish that you could get and then it beeps him out and it shows like a picture of two like peaches and like
Oh yeah.
smooth as a whatever it is. And he's like, and then it shows like a picture of a banana and some coconuts for the next one, like, and it bleeps him out. And it's he's like, so I mean, stuff like that gets me. I love it. I love when it's sticky, but it's really, really, really well produced. It's like half off color, but half not. I love that stuff. It gives me a chuckle. And look, like, 12 years later, I'm still talking about that commercial. So, I mean, I love that stuff. But I know a lot of people aren't like a big fan of the Dr. Squatch commercials.
Yeah, I'm not. I
know you're not.
despise them. Yeah, I think that they borderline on being tasteless at times. But I know that they grab attention. They have the shock and awe. And I don't know if it's just because I don't think that their products, in my experience, live up to that expectation, which I think is very dangerous for a company. When they build it up, they have this big hype, and then you get it, and you're like, oh, it's not quite what I thought. So I don't know if that's a bias of experience, but yeah, for me, I love informative marketing. I love informative companies. I want to learn while being a consumer. I want to learn while being a fan. Educate me about your products. Tell me what the difference is and what went into it. That's something that's big for me. For example, I use the Aberlite Pro heated brush every day. They designed it from the floor up. They will show you the design plans. They will show you what is different about it, why it's the first one made for beards, all this stuff. So I enjoy seeing behind the scenes and being educated about what I am purchasing and why it's different. So for me, I think that's really, really big.
Oh, did someone say so? I don't know if someone said something about Unvonda or if Jill is just asking what about the Unvonda commercial. There was this backpack. It was like a shoulder bag and a backpack. Literally the best marketing in the world for the world's most disappointing product.
Oh,
it was like, speaking of what you were just talking about,
yeah.
and then Jill, it was their slogan is Unvonda, great effing bag. And like they dropped the F-bomb in the commercial like a million times, but like very diplomatically. And it just cracked me up. I loved it. I was like, oh, that thing looks great. And it was like Kickstarter. I waited for a year and I get this thing out of a bag clearly made in China, marketed by someone in the UK with a great commercial. And I could not have been more disappointed. It was such a bummer.
Yep. No, I hear you. Okay, so let's hear some of these things that we have here. A few different people have touched on handwritten notes is a great touch.
We do that.
And that shows that personal side of the company, right? It's not just pumping something out, like you said, from Alibaba. That's a nice little personal touch. Diablo says funny ads.
That's where I'm at.
Creative, unique ads. Okay, absolutely. And let's see what else that we have here. Honesty, transparency. I can't stand when things are not as advertised.
Dude,
man.
Here.
Yes.
Yes. I'm right there with you. And the handwritten notes and the stickers, that's something we do on all of our orders. Unless it's like, I think Black Friday was the only week we didn't sit, Jill didn't write something on each one because she was just like, running around like crazy. But we love doing that, especially when it's a first time customer. We like to write thank you. If someone comes back, we like to say welcome back. Let us know what you think. It's like, that's huge. I mean, the personal connection thing is gigantic. And I think Chris mentioned a minute ago, he switched from Live Bearded to us because of, his interactions with me, Jill, Dan, and this stream. So I think honestly, if we're going to be doing anything for outbound marketing and for display ad-based marketing, I already told Dan this. I don't know if you guys know this or not. When you go to a big ad agency, right? You go to big Acme ads.com, whatever. When you get a contract with them, You tell them how many impressions you want. They're going to build your ads for you with some nice looking graphics and stuff. First thing they do, very first thing, is they make their job your job, and they tell you to let's get 20 different copies for ad content, and they ask you for copyright. They ask you for ad content, and honestly, I told Dan this a while back. I told Jill this. We would never need to write an ounce of ad copy because you guys have written all of it. And so just like you guys say, like this stream, this community, this interaction, like us is what got you to switch from whatever your old brand was to ours, or at least give it a try and hopefully turn you into a believer. That is the content we would use on our ads. I would use nothing more than our reviews from our customers to help bring in new customers. Because I think, like you said, someone else said, word of mouth is the most powerful advertising you can get. And if you don't know somebody, how do you get that word of mouth in front of people you don't know? Well, I suppose ads might be a way to do that. And I think literally just word for word, copy and paste of what you guys have said about our products, that's all the marketing we'd need, right? I mean, what other company can say that you could literally go into judge.me, our reviews platform, and I could literally safely say, without even saying filter for 5-star reviews and do this, do that. No, go in, open it up, throw a dart, and take that review and put it in an ad. And I am confident that would help bring in new customers. The things you guys have said about our products is all we would ever need to say. Yeah. I mean, how crazy is that?
It's amazing. Amazing. And Paul says product display. Yeah, so something I'm super excited about is the future of wholesale with this company, and being in barbershops, being in small boutique stores eventually, and having custom-made wood displays that are made by the company to show off the company's products. Man, I think that would fit his criteria right there. And Guns and Beard says, everyone loves getting free stuff in their order. It doesn't have to be a bottle, but even a sticker or candy. Something's a nice little surprise.
I love that too.
Funny ads, okay. E-Trade commercials were funny, focused on service and the brand. Yeah, they had some good ones. Yep,
you're right.
Same thing. Okay, humor, originality, honesty. Yeah, so what we need, guys, here is our ultimate need at this company, is just for Nick to quit all of his other jobs and dedicate his uniqueness in humor, because you guys may not get this fully, but Nick's a funny guy, and he has even better ideas than his just day-to-day humor. It's just this stuff takes time, and so we got some stuff planned, some fun things that will be coming in the future. So it's going to be awesome.
Oh,
Customer service, love the butter. Awesome.
Well, hey, look at that.
Yep. I know this is hard to do, but personally reaching out to customers, not potential customers. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Robert Allen, we love that. And you even look at like some of our subscription customers, and some of our repeat customers. We have filters and lists that let us see, who bubbles up to the top of that repeat customer list and those sorts of things. We reach out to those people. And even here coming up on Christmas, they may or may not be getting some extra stuff in the mail they weren't expecting. It's like little things to be able to just say thank you. And we've chosen to not spend our money this holiday season on ads. We've chosen to spend it on our existing customers.
That's so cool.
Imagine that. We have budget that could be used for ads, and instead we're reinvesting that to take better care of our existing customers, to make sure we keep them happy, and keep them. Customer retention is everything to us. It's the lifeblood of what we do. And so, yeah, huge.
Yeah. Love that. And guys, we're not able to highlight all of these, but trust us, Jill is reading them. We're going to go back and read them as well. So keep them coming if you have them. And then I think this is a good time when Carbon brings this up. There is one more topic. We have 2 more questions, but one more topic that I want to go over here. And I think it's really perfect and important for us to go over, to kind of emphasize what Dr. Nick's is all about. And it's not a huge fan of marketing, but a company that pulls the curtain back like this speaks volumes. So Nick, I have it scrolling down at the bottom here. Go ahead and take this away with this paradigm, with this concept of the holographic team. What does that mean, and how is it being implemented with this company?
So this is something, and again, I don't want to turn this into a business coaching session because some people here might care, some people here might not. So I will tell you before I say this, This is not just relevant if you're running a brand, if you're in sales, if you're a manager at a company managing a team of people, or maybe you work in a team of other people. This is useful in your household. This is useful with your wife and your kids, and your friends. I mean, this is useful everywhere. I learned it, God, about 10, 12 years ago at a company I was working at. I held an executive role there, and all of their executives got put through executive coaching. And we all had executive coaches assigned to us. And the person I was working with introduced me to the concept of a holographic team. And without going on too long about it, the basis of this concept is the way a hologram works. It relates very heavily to that, and it kind of draws on it a bit. So they start off by saying that the way a hologram works, the reason it's three-dimensional is because every pixel in a hologram has all the information about every other pixel in that hologram. And when you see it and you look at it, that's why it becomes 3D, is because you're not just seeing a flat pixel of color. You're actually seeing something that's a pixel that actually has the pixels around it involved in that one as well. So when you look at it, it appears three-dimensional when you look at it at angles. And that's, fun science fact of the day of how holograms work from Dr. Nick. You're welcome. So what this concept draws on is the idea that one thing in a group of many things should have all the information about the things around it. So internally here at Dr. Nick's, Dan's focused on marketing. Jill is focused on operations and production. I'm focused on the business side of things and marketing, product development, and kind of right across a couple of different areas, and probably everything, to Dan and Jill's dismay sometimes, just about, have my hands in all of it. But the idea is that Jill should know what Dan's working on. Dan should know what Jill's working on. I should know what everyone's working on, and everyone should know what I'm working on, right? And if you do this, regardless of what it is that you do, it'll make it to where that team of people is singing off the same sheet of music, right? It'll make it so that team of people, when you're doing your task, whatever that might be, you're not doing it in a vacuum, right? You're aware of all the things around you, all the people around you, and how the thing that you're doing contributes to those larger goals that are not part of your daily task. And we like to extend that concept way past the walls of our operations and our internal team. And we consider you guys to be part of our holographic team. We like to involve you in our decision-making processes. We like to let you guys know what's coming up next. If we're going to change something, why we're changing it, how we're changing it, what were the reasons behind it, what were the drivers. And that way, when you guys see something come out, or you see something change, or you see a piece of news, you say, oh, yep, I saw that coming. Cool. I heard him talk about that. Or, oh, yeah, I got an email about that. Okay, that makes sense. People don't like being blindsided and surprised. And they also don't feel like a change has been made without taking them into consideration, right? Like, we would never do anything that would take something away or change something that you guys like without you being a part of that decision, or without at least socializing it and the reasons for it first. So yeah, the concept of a holographic team, I think, is huge internally to how we operate so smoothly with such light touches throughout the day, but we still know what we're all doing. And if you do that as a culture, it becomes very effortless, and it becomes a very obvious way to operate, right? You don't need these big staff meetings where all of a sudden you're like, okay, here's all the things you didn't know were going on or now going on, and your life is about to change. And well, you don't have to know why. It's because I said so. We've never done anything like that here, both internally or externally with our customers. And so I think that concept, I think it's huge. It contributes a lot to what makes us us.
Yeah, it's such an amazing approach. And me coming from education and seeing those staff meetings and seeing your world get dictated and changed and dropped and just completely stomped on, it's such a relief to see this done the right way. And again, this goes with you guys. There is nothing, I can tell you, nothing going on with this company that you don't know about. We did an entire episode dedicated to grit and why grit happens and why it's possible and why we're doing everything possible to avoid it and how we can help you with it, right? That's not something a lot of companies would approach and bring up and say, hey,
No.
this is a possible weakness. We know it. We want want to help you. We want to get better at it. And here it is, right? That's not a great approach to business in many people's minds. But this is what Dr. Nick's is about being transparent, is about pulling the curtains back, is about showing you guys. And the way that operation works, it truly is just such an amazing thing. So let me give you guys a quick example behind the scenes. Nick and I had a meeting. Nick approached, said, hey, I got a few things. I want this to come off the right way. It's nothing that you're doing, nothing that I'm doing, but there's a few things that I don't like about the website and maybe a couple other things we can talk about. And so we sat down, we got on a meeting, and we took a look at the site, and I'm so proud of a couple of things. One, to show you guys some of these changes that happened with the website. So when you look here, first and foremost, before any time a company starts a company, usually they hire someone to get a website going and start plugging in things. And there was a stock image that had a beard before. Well, we changed it and have this super sharp image of Nick. And who knows, this may change and be other images of Nick in the future. But we also put our standard here, the thing that we really like to express about the company, experience the Dr. Nick's difference. And that's truly believed. So you go down, we have these nice images, we have all these things, and we were like, okay, let's plug and pop, let's do these things. And then there were a couple of checklist items that me and Nick didn't get to. And we actually ran over on time. We were so into it. We were so loving it, making these changes. And I couldn't sleep. I don't even know what time it was when I messaged Nick, but it was probably, I don't know, 9 or 10 o'clock. Sam was asleep. The kids were asleep, and it was just on my mind. It was just rattling around.
I think it was 12:45 a.m.
Okay, and that could literally be true. And I was like, hey, Nick, I want to run this by you with your permission, but I have some changes that I want to make. And if you're cool with it, I'll go do it right now because I can't sleep and I'm really obsessed with this. If you want me to wait to do it together, totally fine. And Nick was like, hey, man, for the first time in my company, any company's history, you got a green light. I know that you know the best here. So we went through and I changed this section that has the best sellers. We went through and changed this picture, and we just went through and adjusted things. And it was so cool to see. And that concept of like Nick knowing what I'm doing, me knowing what Nick's doing, knowing what Jill's doing, and then the feedback, and it's all symbiotic, right? I'll get messages, and we had an advertisement. Jill had an idea. She's like, I want a Santa Claus that's shushing. Boom, done, got it. Like, it's not like, hey, this is marketing terms here. Like, get off my turf. You know, it's all together, and it's all being shared with you guys, and even doing things like saying, hey, this is how we changed the website. We take pride in being able to share that with you guys, and it's truly a passion, and I couldn't imagine it working any other way with this company and with this team.
No, I mean, it is. When I say it's the lifeblood of our company, it's what makes Dr. Nick's Dr. Nick's. It is. I mean, it's 1000% what makes this so freaking enjoyable, way beyond anything else that I'm doing. Anybody else that I work with, by the way, you're watching this, love you guys. But you know, just as well as I do, in these traditional kind of spaces, software, cybersecurity consulting, whatever else it might be, even in the wood shop, right? There's some deep roots in those industries that only allow them to operate certain ways. I think Bigfoot is probably the closest to Dr. Nick's as far as being able to take on this new way of interaction and making your customers a community and creating an audience that likes you, doesn't just look at you as a place, someone to buy products. I think it's probably the closest, but I mean, that right there, Dan, I mean, that was huge. I've never had, I mean, I've managed marketing teams and across lots of development teams and stuff before. Nothing ever goes into production without, production reviews and, okay,
right.
We made a draft and let's look at this. This is one of those times where, I literally said, I know that Dan's not going to do anything that is going to go against what we're doing. I know he's not going to do anything that is so far different than what we have that I might not like it. I know the changes we talked about and he has them in mind. Holographic team, right? I gave Dan I didn't come to Dan that day and say, hey, I want to change this to that, change this to this, and create a task list of things to change. I actually called a meeting and I said, hey, I'm going to do something I don't do very often. And I'm going to talk about things I don't like that don't necessarily have a path to fix them.
Yep.
And I don't like doing that. I'm it sounds cheesy to say, but I like being a solution person, not a problem person, right? I like coming up with things that I want to change and talk about the reasons why, not talk about something I don't like and have no idea how to fix or make better. But I did that day. And it was part of the holographic team. I'm like, I need you to have what's in my head so that as we're looking at things,
Exactly.
you know what I might want to change. And it works, right? It works, and it works time and time again. And look at how quickly we were able to move there, Dan, and get stuff done without all that red tape holding us back.
So cool. So cool.
It's huge.
All right. I love it. All right, guys. I have another question for you, and I know you guys are going to respect the feel of the stream when answering this. And please do not name any specific companies. But let's discuss marketing methods that you dislike. I shared mine earlier. I don't like when things are borderline appropriate, or borderline shock and awe, and above all, I don't like when it doesn't match what they're putting out. When they say that it's this, and I don't think it is. And I've seen that with soap companies, especially because I actually know the soap making process. I know the really bad, I know the okay, and I know the really good. And it just comes down to the process. The same with beard oil, same with any of these things. So when you're toting it as the really good, but I know your process is in the middle, those are certain things that kind of bug me. Other ones that I would say there is I dislike, and I don't like to have this term, but I dislike leaning on lazy marketing that is borderline trademark or copyright infringement. I don't think that's a sustainable method. I don't think that's a method that is something that is good. Now, if you go buy the license, right, Dr. Squatch, we shouldn't name companies, but I'm being on a positive one here. They purchased a Star Wars license to make Star Wars soap last year for the holiday time. Hey, rock out. You did it the right way. You paid for it. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But for you guys out there, just any general terms of what is a something that you are not a fan of. And so X-Ray says, when a company sends emails that I have stuff in my cart. Now, I do see both sides of that, right? I see the method of saying, hey, somebody forgot this, reach out. But man, do some of them cross the line. And I've had some that have been a 3-step process. Hey, you forgot something in your cart. Just so you know, time's running out. And then you'll even get one that'll be like, hey, here's an extra discount if you do this. And it's like, man, I didn't want to see these emails. I didn't forget it. I'm just kind of going through my process. So
yeah,
X-Ray.
on that one, I that drives me nuts too, which is why built into our platform, we do have cart recovery emails that go out. But you guys will be happy to hear this. Our marketing company that we worked with previously to build up the site and build up the e-commerce side of Dr. Nick's, right? They put that in place. They said, okay, we're going to get them once. We're going to send another one the next day. Then we're going to send a coupon code. Then we're going to do this. And I'm like, no. You can send one. You can send one recovery email. I don't want it to be 24 hours in, 48 hours goes by. Someone's got something in the cart. You can send one email saying, hey, just to let you know, there's some stuff in your cart, just in case you forgot about it. Right.
And I think that's fair.
And that's it. And that's it. That's like all we'll do. And we're not going to send out another discount code. We're not going to do that stuff. I mean, when you sign up for the SMS, you get 10%. If you come in with Dan, obviously you get 15%. There's other things you can do. And we're not going to devalue ourselves like that, saying, hey, okay, come back. We'll give you, it'll be less expensive. We just don't, we feel like it's a bad look. We don't want to bug you to this point here, Kevin. I hate getting 10,000. I do not want an email from someone every single day.
Same.
Just because I bought your product.
Same. And
too many emails. I think I maybe send 4 emails aside from our monthly newsletter, right? That we're getting back on. That'll be a once a month thing. People have to ask for it. But if you're just a customer of ours and you say that you opt in to email, I maybe send 4 of them a year. And stuff around Black Friday, Christmas, Father's Day, stuff like that, right? If we have a big sale, something like that, because people will get upset if they missed a big sale, obviously, and they come back want to buy something. So it is.
Yep.
You got to keep it light.
Emails and texts, they're rough. There's even companies that I love that do it because I get it. They get with those marketing companies, and if you just look at numbers, those things do convert. They do convert if you just strictly look at numbers, but the numbers you can't measure is how many returning potential customers are you turning off that don't come back again. That doesn't show up very well. So yes.
Yep. And everyone's saying pretty much the same thing. They're right in line with me. I hate when people bug me.
Yes, same. And for me too, just a glimpse on my side, I do have an email list. When I do my giveaways, they have the fine print, right? You put your email. I have over 5,000 on my email list. That's highly valuable. I've sent 0 emails because I feel weird about it. There may be a
Feels
time
intrusive.
Yeah, there may be a time, there may be a place, but I'm not there yet personally. And Ben says disrespecting another product or company, big time.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Big
never,
time.
yeah, no, you should never step on someone else to get a leg up on them. You know, it's you, if you're doing a good enough job, your differences should be your differences that you can speak of. You
Yep.
shouldn't have to set the bar low to be recognized as your bar being high.
Exactly. And that's why even like this, people are like, well, you're talking about things you dislike. That I wanted to set it up by saying, don't say any companies. We want to learn. Who knows? Maybe there's something that we would plan on doing in the future. And we're like, oh, wow, our base does not like that. Good to know. Or we're doing something and we can look at adjusting it. That's why we like to do these things and get that.
Yeah, Mike, without me saying the name, I've heard that same sentiment from a few people about that company, that you buy something once and you will get 5 emails a week for the rest of your life until you tell them to stop.
Yeah. Yep. And that's same here. Constant SMS, email, selling artwork images of famous people. Yeah, Donald, those are my biggest ones right there. I'm right there with you.
Same.
Christina says buying stuff at the mall. I hate that too. Christina, I have in my pocket an email that's a fake one that I give them just to give a look. My email is iloveunicorns13@gmail.com. And so it's not mine. So somebody keeps getting my, like, whoever actually has that email keeps getting all my signups because
we should send him an email and ask him to join the stream next week so you can apologize.
Yeah, because I don't like saying no. Like I'm not gonna be mean and stuff, even though I probably should. So
I just say no. And when they say why, I'm like, because.
Yeah, I can't.
Nope.
And so Vado, I said this last night. Many companies do it. Many companies I love do it, but my goodness, are the pop-ups going crazy on websites and driving me crazy. Vado, I can't even go on some sites because they have a wheel pop-up, and then they have a chat box pop-up, and then they have somebody in Timbuktu purchased your product popped up, and then what about this one pop up? And it's driving me crazy. So Vado,
that drives me so nuts.
Say it louder, man.
And I have the pop-up blockers and the ad blockers and everything in my browser, and I still get them. And then you get the one once in a while where I think this is what you're talking about, Bearded Vato. You scroll up really quick because you want to get back up to the menu, and the little script inside the site thinks you're leaving. So then it pops up the pop-up that says, hold on before you go. And it's like, I wasn't going anywhere. I was trying to go to your menu up at the top, but now you're annoying me. So I'm just going to leave.
Right. Yeah, no, I love that. And thank you, Guns and Beards. Says, I admire that not only does Dan know who we are across social media, he also knows our spouses. Absolutely. Christina's in here, who is Brad's wife. I know MC is Mrs. Guns and Beards. So, yeah, I take pride in getting to know everybody. I don't care if you have a beard or not. If you're a good person, you're a good person with me. So, yes, absolutely. I love that.
The discount wheel. Oh, the spin the wheel.
Oh, if I could get rid of one thing in marketing history, it would be that discount wheel. Because you're in the zone. You're like, boom, okay, hey, let me check out Dr. Nick's Sense. And then, boom, it takes over your entire page. And not only can you exit out of it, it's like, are you sure you don't want to save anything today? Are you an idiot? Are you stupid? What's wrong with your small brain?
Yeah. And then it's like, and like the no button is no. I don't like saving money and hate discounts. And you got to click it. And you're like, well, come on. Come on.
No, I know
balls
entirely. And I know people are trying to make money, but I hate getting DMs about products. Yeah, I don't ever send DMs. I know exactly what you mean. You have a post and then you click share and you just you go down. I get those same ones. So, okay. To end on a positive note, I can't believe we only have less than 2 minutes left. I know, that's crazy.
How the hell did that happen?
I don't know. And bye, Jill. Thank you for manning the chat here.
Out to go get her hair done.
As you guys leave here, leave us a comment. This is not to pat ourselves on the back. This is genuinely to be like, hey, we're figuring this out. We don't have a roadmap. We don't have any company that we're basing this off of. We are just doing what we think is right. If something resonates with you about what we are doing, please drop a comment. What if there's some tactic of Dr. Nick's, whether it's the marketing, whether it's something in these streams, whether it's something on the website or anything at all, put that, because that really can help us figure out what basket we put our eggs into and where we're going from there. And so I want to make sure I preface that correctly. We're not trying to get a pat on the back. This is actual information that we discuss, that we go over, that we talk about on a regular basis. So please consider dropping something that you think is working. And if it's working and you guys enjoy it, we want to make sure we lean into that. We want to make sure that we keep that going because it is about you. And as we always say, it's not in a vacuum. We're not doing this out of just boom here. So much of it is from feedback. And so, man, and I love that you're not overbearing. Yeah, absolutely. And it's not in any of our personalities to be overbearing. So yeah, that is really big. Here's one. The response time and genuine responses to customers contacting you is huge. Yep, I love that. And part of that, I'll be transparent. I'm a freak of nature when it comes to responding things, when it comes to getting them. I would go crazy. Like, I would absolutely go crazy. And like, let's say it's Instagram and I'm manning the messages. If there's something for Nick or Jill, I message them right away. I don't like things to sit there and be like, well, they'll see it eventually. Man, I don't know. It just eats me alive if stuff sits there. I respond to every text immediately, every message. So, Chris, thank you for noticing that. That means a lot because it's not. I don't think it's common, and so that's good. Providing quality product. I mean, above all, none of this matters if it's garbage. None of it matters if we sell this amazing approach and these great owners, and then you guys get the products. You're not coming back to this stream if it's a bad product. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, Jason Brana hit it on the head too. It seems like companies that market the heaviest have a lesser product. And it's just like when you meet someone in a party and they got to talk about themselves a whole bunch and they can't let people discover things about them. It's like, yeah, okay. When everyone to know how cool you are probably means you're not that cool.
Yep. And yeah, absolutely. I've learned that over the time where I used to be like, I thought everybody wanted to be the guy that you walk in and everyone's like, oh, what's up? I like to survey and listen and take it in and be the last to speak. I feel like it's more powerful when you have all of the knowledge, all of the information of the room, and then you get to speak. And it's kind of like how this company is. We're not trying to jump ahead. We're not trying to be quick. We're trying to survey the scene and then kind of go from there. And Donald says, honesty, education, community connection, transparency of products. Love that.
Right on,
laid back streams, and the site layout is clean and cluttered, and it's very clean and not cluttered. Oh, let's go, baby. Love that.
Thank you.
Everything you're doing. Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Love you, Mark.
Right. When are you going to get a hat on that? When are you going to get a hat on that? But Nick?
Oh, well, you would be happy to know that I am in the lead time of my first orders of sample hats. We have 3 styles coming in. We've selected the shirts for the t-shirts for the base. We have 2 designs, and we're going to get that in the queue with the printing company, I believe, Thursday. So everything is well in motion. It's lead times are high right now, especially on hats, but that's fine. You know, we're dealing with it. We're getting them as they come in. I'll probably be wearing one in a couple of weeks on the stream. Hopefully by the end of the month, you guys will see it, and we'll start getting those on the site.
Yes. The webpage regarding the different beard lengths, Nick and I just went over that. Love that. Absolutely love that. Transparency about the business is often. I think nearly every business needs to do this, needs to do that today. The days of hiding behind the wall is over. Woo, so
Tear
true.
it down the wall.
So true. Thank you, Ben. We appreciate that, man. And he says, with the internet abundant of companies, no longer secret keepers, it's okay to make a profit when you're honest. And that G squared, that's so important too. And that's nothing that Dr. Nix hides. That's nothing that I hide, right? I do this full time. I do content creation. I do marketing. I do all these things. You need to make money to provide for your family. And I truly believe the world is a better place if more people make money doing what they love. And if they do it transparently, they do it honestly, I think we should encourage everybody that idea, that concept that making money is evil, making money is bad, making money is wrong, comes from deep-seated insecurities, comes from terrible experiences, and we need to change that because it's not a bad thing, and it's only selective, right? You never hear anybody get criticizing family doctors for making a good salary, right? They never say, hey, I can't go to that doctor. They make a good salary. So yeah, when you make a profit, when you're honest, I love that, man. I love that. And Kevin, I'll attest to this. This is always since Nick from day one. This company will only get as big as they can handle.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, if things have to be scaled back to make sure that this can all be maintained, that will happen. So
Yeah.
that is something that is very conscious and is not something that is ever going to be in question. Ever.
Oh yeah. If we need to get to that point, that's when wait lists go on. That's when VIP customers get access to last 10 stocks. You know, that kind of stuff, right? To let customer base, you know, yeah.
Yep. And a discussion, I don't know if it was last night or this morning, we talked so much, it always blurs, but hey, what if we grow real big? Well, then part of the wood shop is going to become a production line, and then 5 people are hired and their lives are changed, and it's going to be done the right way in-house.
1,000%.
Yep. No doubt about it. I hope these small companies like yours can stay transparent with their great customer service 5, 10, 20 years from now. Absolutely, man.
We will, Mike.
No doubt about it.
Hold me to
doubt
it.
about it.
Hold me to it. Send me a personal email if you ever feel like I'm not. I mean, that's it.
Yep. Absolutely. So you have to be honest, and we have to be open too. We only do this from this customer feedback too, and I think that's super important. We make adjustments all the time based on what you guys tell us, and so we're not experts. We're just figuring it out as we go, and we happen to like the way it's going.
Heck yeah, man. That's it.
Beautiful. Well, hey, guys, if you have not on your way out, please consider hitting that thumbs up to show YouTube that you enjoyed this conversation. And that's all I think this is. It's just a giant conversation with a bunch of people, which is so awesome. I want to encourage you guys to reach out anytime, whether it's through the email or through the Instagram. This company is happy to answer your questions, happy to help you out, happy to conversate. Anything that you guys want, please reach out. This is, again, this is way more than customers. We want to be friends. We want to be fans. We want to be family. So, man, please at any time, Nick, a little bit over, but go ahead and take them out.
You got it, man. And thank you guys for staying a couple of minutes past. I know you guys have things to get back to, so I appreciate you hanging out with your favorite couple of beardos here on a Tuesday at 1:00 in the afternoon. And I'll leave by highlighting a comment from Jake Boss about getting to know Nick, Jill, and about the company lets us feel invested. I wanted to close on this. Just know your feeling of being invested is not just a feeling. You are invested. This is your company. Like this is your beard products. This is your grooming company. Anything you want us to do that we're not doing, we work our best to do it. And the only way we do that is because of you guys. You're invested in this. You feel like you're invested in this because we feel like you're invested in this. And we take it seriously. We treat you guys as if you are our investors, like you were our board of directors, and we approve decisions with you. We make decisions from you, and we're going to continue to do that. So don't just feel invested. Know that you are, and know that the reason we're here is because of you guys. And with that, have a good rest of your Tuesday. Thanks so much for coming, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you, guys.